And welcome back. It's time for our Sunday Live interview. My guest tonight, EACC CEO Halakhe Waqo. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. There seems to be some fresh energy around EACC, and it all appears very curious and very timed. What's going on?
Thank you very much. Yes, it is that there is an energy, but it's not nothing. It's not new as such, because if you follow on the processes or activities most of this year, you can see that we've been very active as we investigate and forward files to the DPP for onwards transmission to the courts. So it's only a matter of reinvigorating or re-energizing our processes, and it means that we are restating our commitment and our investment in the process of fighting corruption.
During your tenure, how many cases have you forwarded to the DPP, and what has your success rate been in terms of getting these cases to the courts?
My tenure, so far, I've been there for about 3 years. But what I'll pick is, in the last 6 months, when you recall that in March, the list that the President tabled in Parliament forms part of what we've been very actively pursuing most of this year. And as we sit here today, I can confirm to you that we have 334 people in courts just taken there in the last 6 months. And this is far much even the number of 5, 6, 7 years ago cumulatively put together. So when I say that the energy is a continuous process of what we have fully put in place most of this year, I mean that that is how we've been working since February this year, and the number that I'm giving to you is just what we had done between April and November this year.
And yet previously the claim has been that the judiciary is an obstacle in itself in the fight against corruption, that it's releasing graft suspects, you know, on technicalities, etc. What confidence do you have that these 300 plus you're talking about will actually lead to convictions? And as the President says, you know, the measure of the success in the fight against corruption will be to have people incarcerated and funds returned.
It's true that there's been a concern on judiciary, that we've had very low judicial process, judicial process. We've also had low conviction rates over the years. But I can confirm to you that there is a serious renewal also on the side of the judiciary. Only 2 weeks ago, we had the Chief Justice declaring a number of very positive progress in the side of judiciary committing to fight corruption. One, that according to the law, the corruption cases are supposed to be listened and or heard and determined on daily basis, and this has not been in place, so there is a commitment that cases will be heard on day-to-day basis once filed in court. Then there is also the commitment that the number of anti-corruption magistrates, the special anti-corruption courts across the country, will increase. But even more important is the fact that the Chief Justice declared that we are going to have an established division at the High Court level that deals with corruption and economic crimes, and they have prepared a Gazette notice which will be out anytime this week.
Right. I want to go now to the particulars of some of the scams, if you like, that you are probing. And the latest is the Eurobond, which the Treasury over and over has come out and said, look, every last coin can be accounted for. But you have now commenced investigations. What specifically are you looking into?
Thank you. Actually, we are not commencing investigation. We are only scaling up, because we've had some talks here and there when the activity of the Eurobond was going on about a year ago, and therefore we've been monitoring the process. But when the recent claims arose, we thought that it's time to look at it in an in-depth way and see the truth around the claims that are being made. So we know that money or resources were generated through the Eurobond activities last year, and we know that from the progress, a number of financial institutions have been tasked to manage. We are also aware the fact that part of the money realized has been utilized for servicing some syndicated loans, and we are now looking at what transpired throughout, including the amount of money that has come to Kenya for development projects that they have been earmarked for.
Where do you think the discrepancy lies in as far as the focus of your investigation? Where is the question mark? Is it in the funds that have been used to pay off foreign debt? Is it in the funds that government claims have been used for development projects?
Some of the people who are claiming include the former Prime Minister, whom I listened to even a few minutes ago on this bulletin, who says that 140 billion shillings could have been lost or so. So what we are looking at is the whole figure. From the 250 that was generated, what has been allocated to projects in Kenya, what has gone into the financing of the loans and other projects. But for us, it's not about picking a portion and looking at. It is definitely looking at the holistic thing, from the first to the last. And we are going to clearly come out and share the information once we establish the truth.
Is there a timeline you're working with?
Yeah, of course, every of our investigations in normal manner is timed within a 3-month time frame. But when we have a prioritized projects that we must work within, probably in the next few weeks we should have our preliminary findings.
All right, I want to move on to the NYS scandal, and what prompted the recent raid on former CS Anwar Guru's house?
I want to create or clarify an impression created that there was a raid on Anwar Guru's house. Like any other investigation, because we are conducting investigations, like any other investigation, this looked at various individuals who have been suspected to be part of various deals and even management of the NYS resources. We did not just look at Ms. Waiguru's case or her home and go there. We had 18 targets. So
fair
when
enough,
you talk about it, talk about 18 different targets.
I'm asking specifically about her first, and the reason why I'm doing so is because at one point, after being grilled by yourselves for a couple of hours, her lawyer emerged and said that she is being treated as a witness, as a state witness in the NYS scam. And so it is then curious that after such a statement, then thereafter a witness would be subjected to the raiding of her home. So let's focus on her specifically. What new information perhaps could have come to light that prompted your detectives to raid her house?
First of all, when you say that her lawyer came out and announced that she was treated as a witness, her lawyer is her lawyer. The commission never announced the same. It wasn't a statement from us, because we have officers charged with stating the same if it were our information. So I will not deal with that as I will not deal with that as our information, or me or any of my colleagues as a source. And number two, when we investigate a particular problem, we don't look at individuals. We look at the whole project and anybody who is involved in a way or the other, whether in the middle or in the periphery or even far off, but with some sort of relationship with a particular project. We will definitely question and make a follow-up on what we want to establish. So
as far as you're concerned, what is she to you? Is she a person of interest? Is she a key suspect? How would you define her?
Every member of the ministry at that higher echelon at the time, including the NYS senior officials, have always been treated as people of interest, including those are viewed as high suspects.
There was a CID report on the same that basically cleared the CS of any wrongdoing. Are you using part of that report in your investigations, or are you discarding with it entirely?
Of course, every information that we think will leverage our position in as far as achieving the final information on all the issues that relate to the NYS will be used and is being used. But you also need to understand that matters of NYS, especially issues that relate to management of resources at the NYS, have had more wider perspectives than the one that is put in the public knowledge. So when we investigate, most of the times, if you see a matter or a complaint brought to us, we also expand to other areas we think we must cover as we progress. So it usually, it's viewed as one of our critical sources of information.
Fair enough. Now, various people have been implicated in graft by yourselves, only later to be cleared. And some say that EACC is being used by the executive to witch hunt, to hound certain officials out of office, only so that they can eventually be replaced. How do you respond to that?
Far from the truth, because we don't just sit and write Anne Kaguta's name on a paper and start running after her. We have information on every individual, and we've had information and complaint on those individuals. And once we do that, we sit, analyze the process, go through the normal investigation situation, and then when we have our evidence full and fully put in place and confirming that it's something that stands trial in court, we progress with it to the DPP and progress further.
And yet
if in the process that a few of the files or complaints show that we do not have enough evidence to stand in court, then we don't go that far. That is basically the thing. Otherwise, how did we arrive at so far 334 people, even beyond the 124 files that we've been investigating? So that is not a true position.
Finally, you were investigating FKF and allegations, that money was lost there. Where are you in as far as those investigations?
When we see that investigations require our engagement and sometimes even link or referral with other institutions, we share the information and work with them. And in this case, we have the CID who is dealing with the matters of FKF. So we are working in relationship with the CID, who is on the lead in pursuing this.
All right. I thank you for your time. EACC CEO Halakhe Waqo. To other news of the day now, as the world gathers in France to put together a plan to reduce global temperatures and reverse detrimental climate change, residents of Gazi Bay in Kwale County have embarked on a unique project to save the planet. The project, that involves planting mangrove trees to clean the atmosphere of carbon dioxide, is not only aimed at slowing down global warming, but it's also funding access to clean water and improving education for locals. Sylvia Chebet now tells us why the project is winning hearts at the Paris climate change meeting.